Good morning, everybody. Today we'll start a new chapter, definite integration. Very important for your objective. Definitely two questions from this chapter will come for JEE mains, and for IPE 17, 14, 12 marker will come from this chapter. Total 13 marks for IPE weightage, and compulsory 2 questions for JEE. In JEE, no chapter carries you 2 questions except this chapter. In maximum of the cases, they are given 2 questions. At least one is compulsory question from this. So very important chapter. Be careful and listen carefully. You can understand easily. First, what is a definite integral? What is a definite integral? F is a mapping from A to B. F is a mapping from A comma B, closed interval A comma B to R, a real number set. Be a function. First of all, F should be a function in the closed interval A comma B to some R, real function. Be a function, and P equal to x0, x1 and so on till xn be the partitions of this A comma B. A comma B is partitioned like x0, x1 and so on till xn. And Ti be any value, any small function in this xi minus 1 to xi, means between x1, x2 or x2, x3 like that, take any value Ti, then the sum of f of Ti into delta xi is width, this is called as delta xi. With the xi minus 1 is called as delta xi minus, here delta xi equal to xi minus xi minus 1, this width is called as delta xi. So f of Ti into delta xi is called as a Riemann sum, and integral of a to b f of x dx, integral of a to b f of x dx is approximately equal to sigma I equal to 1 to n f of Ti into delta xi. Here this integral of f of x from a to b is called as definite integral, and definite integral, this is called as lower limit of the definite integral, and this is called as the upper limit of the definite integral. A is called as lower limit or lower bound, lower limit or lower bound. So it can't go below this, like this is upper bound, so it can't go beyond this. So upper bound of the definite integral, upper bound or upper limit of the definite integral. So lower limit or upper limit of the definite integral are a comma b. So a is lower limit, means including a but not below a, like including b but not above b, like this. So integral of a to b f of x dx equal to this one. So this is called as Riemann sum or Riemann integral. Riemann sum or Riemann integral. Riemann integral is integral of a to b f of x dx is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to n f of Ti into delta I. Delta I is called as Riemann sum or Riemann integral. Riemann sum or Riemann integral. Now we will discuss this in detail. What is the sigma f of xi into delta xi? Means, first of all, it should be a function, and one more foremost thing, it should be a function and continuous differentiable function. F of x should be a continuous differentiable function over the interval a comma b. Then only it is the Riemann sum. Means, if this is a function, f of x is a function like this is a curve like this. If this is A, this is B, I am dividing, partitioning or dividing into different rectangles. So I can find the area of this shaded portion, easily using this definite integral. So that is called as Riemann sum. How do we find this? Is nothing but I will explain you detailing which you can understand the easily understandable way. That is what I started in indefinite integration also. Using integration you can find the areas. So how do you find the area? Now this is a rectangle. This is one more rectangle. This is also one more rectangle. And this is another rectangle. Like this, if I am able to divide into different rectangles, like this, if I am able to find the area of these rectangles and add it together, then I can get this area but some extra limit. Or if I am taking this lower limits, this like this, then I will get some below that I will get. So that I will take the average later on. First of all, how to find the area using this? So if this is A to B is divided into, for example, I am dividing into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. I am dividing into 6 parts. Means this is A, this total length is B minus A, because this is starting from 0. So this total length is B minus A is dividing into 6 parts. Observe, B minus A is dividing into 6 parts. So width of each part is B minus A by 6. B minus A by 6. Width of each part is B minus A by 6. So if that is H I am taking, so this becomes, till this is A and this width is H, means this is automatically A plus H. This is A plus 2H. This is A plus 3H. This is A plus 4H. This is A plus 5H. And this is A plus 6H, like this I will get. Now, if I want the area of this width is what I told, xi minus 1. So, x2 minus x1, x3 minus x2, like that is called as delta x I told. That delta x here is, I am taking it as h. Delta x equal to, I am taking it as h. So, here the delta x is h. Here also h. Here also h. Everywhere that width is common, I am taking it as h. Keep that in mind. Means, the width of the rectangle equal to h. And what is the length? Length is this only. Length is this only, means this is the y coordinate of this. Means if this is, for example, some 5, this is f of 5 only. The function, if the function is y equal to x square I am taking, then this is, if it is 5, this is 5 square. If it is 6 square. Means this function value here y coordinate is, this y coordinate is f of a plus h. F of a plus h, isn't it? So height of here is f of a plus 2h. A plus 2h. I am taking upper part. That's why I am getting a plus h, a plus 2h. F of a plus 3h, a plus 4h, a plus 5h. Here it is f of a plus 6h, a plus 6h. Like this you will get if you observe. Now these are the heights of these rectangles. These are the heights of these rectangles. Now area of this rectangle is length into breadth. This is the length and this is the width. Width is h and length of the first rectangle is f of a plus h. F of a plus h. And second rectangle width is again h only. So h into f of a plus 2h. If I am taking upper heights. If I am taking lower heights like this, then I will get a plus h like this till a minus h. A plus n minus 1 into h. Here I will get a plus nh. So h into f of third rectangle a plus 3h. Fourth rectangle f of a plus 4h. Fifth rectangle h into f of a plus 5h. Sixth rectangle h into f of a plus 6h. Like this I will get the areas of all the rectangles. This Riemann sum, this sum of this is called as Riemann sum I told. So h into, if I take h common, what do I get? F of a plus h plus f of a plus 2h plus f of a plus 3h plus f of a plus 4h plus f of a plus 5h plus f of a plus 6h. A plus 6h. Like this, I will get total area of this. But some extra parts I will definitely get, because the curve is up to here only. This small part is extra. This small part is extra. Observe. So to remove these small extra parts, we can't completely remove, but we can reduce it to the maximum extent. How can we reduce? If we decrease the width of the rectangle, then if I am taking width is only this much small, then automatically this will be reduced. If I am taking width is small, then that automatically this wastage can be reduced to the least. So for that I need to increase this partitions. Means this 6 should be some 20. Then it can be reduced. Means if I am taking h equal to b minus a by n, if I am increasing this n value, number of partitions, then automatically the width is approaches to 0, dx. Simply we can say it as dx, approaches to 0. So this is automatically f of a plus a is x. If I am taking x plus that h is approaching 0, so it becomes integral of a to b f of x into its width is h. So this is each rectangle area. So if I am adding together, so it is nothing but integrating together. So this h is dx. When h is approaching 0, very very small, that is dx. So a to b. So integral of a to b fx dx equal to, this is the formula, actual Riemann sum. So h is equal to b minus a by n. As n increases to infinity, as n approaches to infinity, then only h becomes 0. Means these partitions are very more, means approaching to infinite partitions if I am taking, then it automatically becomes exact area. Approximately very nearer area you will get. So that's why we can take integral of a to b fx dx equal to this area under the curve between the x-axis and the curve between the limits a to b. Between the limits a to b is called as definite integration. Now I increased these partitions, so this automatically becomes a plus h plus f of a plus 2h and so on till f of a plus nh, a plus nh. If I am increasing this n, automatically h becomes very small. That is the other case. Now what I want to say, this h is nothing but b minus a by n, actually. So I can write that also if I want. This is the first case. And second thing, so what I want to say is, this is integral of a to b fx dx is this. Now if this is a is equal to 0, b equal to 1, what happens? A equal to 0, b equal to 1, what happens? A equal to 0, b equal to 1. Means this is 1 minus 0, means 1 by n. And this is h tends to 0 automatically when n is tending to infinity. I am saying when n is tending to infinity, if these partitions are very more, then n tends to infinity, then this h tends to 0. So this becomes f of a plus 0. Like that you will get f of a. So what I want to say is, this is sigma. Before limit I will write this 1 by n, b minus a by n. Before this we will discuss further, then we will go for the limits. Then we can understand. Integral of a to b minus a by n, because h is I can write b minus a by n into this. So this I can write like this, b minus a by n into, now this is sigma of all, sum of all, f of, what is h here? B minus a by n. If I take this is f of a plus nh, Last one is a plus nh. Sigma I equal to 1 to n. A plus sigma 1h, 2h, like that I am getting IH. IH. So H is B minus A by N. So this is B minus A by N. B minus A by N into sigma of I equal to 1 to N. F of A plus I into H is B minus A by N. B minus A by N. So if I take LCM as N, this becomes automatically NB will simplify. Till that you understand, I think. You can write like this. Now if I am taking this A is 0, lower limit is 0 and upper limit is 1. So A is 0, B is 1. Then this is, and this N should approach as infinity, I told, then only this becomes very, very small. So I can write limit n tends to infinity. Limit n tends to infinity. B minus A by N means 1 by N into sigma of, this is A is 0, B is 1, automatically F of I by N. F of I by N. So we can say the formula for integral of 0 to 1 fx dx is always equal to limit n tends to infinity 1 by n into sigma I equal to 1 to n f of I by n. Sigma I equal to 1 to n f of I by n. If this is 0 to some p, then I can simply change this p like np. Automatically the same sum I will get. 1 by n constant, only changing is 1 to p. I am taking 1 to n. So this is 1 to np. Automatically that becomes this. So integral of 0 to 1 fx dx equal to, this is 0 to 1 to n f of I by n. If it is 1 to p, then that is np we can write. So 1 to p, 0 to p, then this automatically becomes np. So like this, these two are always equal. So using this we will find one integration example in the next class. Then we will go for the actual concept. All these concepts have been deleted for this 30% in this COVID year. Actually everything is there in your syllabus. So that's why I am discussing. This will be there in your IPE. This won't be there in our IPE for this year, but it will be there in your JEE mains. Till now we have learnt definite integral. What is meant by the definite integral? Definite integral is from A to B. Integral of A to B f of x dx equal to Riemann sum sigma I equal to 1 to n t of f of ti into delta xi, where delta xi is nothing but width of the each rectangle xi minus 1, xi minus xi minus 1. We already discussed now, and from that we derive two formulae. Integral of 0 to 1 fx dx equal to integral of 0 to 1 fx dx equal to sigma limit n tends to infinity, limit n tends to infinity 1 by n into sigma I equal to 1 to n f of I by n belong. F of I by n. And if it is integral of 0 to p, by taking a b as a equal to 0, b equal to 1 and b equal to p, we discussed all this on this. Now this becomes limit n tends to infinity 1 by n into sigma I equal to 1 to np, sigma I equal to 1 to np f of I by n. These things we discussed. On this we will do two sums from the next exercise 7a. Then we will go for the actual concept. These are deleted for only for this year, but these will be there for your objective. That's why we are discussing. So two sums. So one exercise mein there are only 4 sums. So we will discuss 2 sums and you do 2 homework. Then we will go for the actual this year concept. So what is the first sum? What is the first sum? Integral of evaluate exercise 7a first sum. Only 4 sums you have this exercise. Not that much important, that's why they deleted, because these These are the basics actually. Without these basics, we learn the formula and we will do integration. That is the other case. So without these Riemann sum. First evaluate. First sum. Evaluate the following integrals using Riemann sum. Using Riemann sum. Or using limit as a sum. Using limit as a sum. That is the sum. Integral of 0 to 5 x plus 1 dx. Integral of 0 to 5 x plus 1 dx. Using Riemann sum is asking to find this value. Evaluate this. Evaluate this using Riemann sum. Integral of 0 to 5 x plus 1 dx. So, if you observe, this is like 0 to p. 0 to 5 you have. So, f of x here is you have x plus 1. So, what is f of I by n? This is f of x. What is f of I by n? Obviously, I by n is I by n plus 1. So, f of x is x plus 1. So, f of I by n is I by n plus 1. So, how do we find using limit as a sum? So, using limit n tends to infinity, 1 by n into sigma I equal to 1 to np I told. If p here is 5, so np means 5n. np means 5n. F of in. What is f of in I got? I by n plus 1. I by n plus 1. Now open this bracket, means with sigma if I expand, what do I get? Limit n tends to infinity. 1 by n into, if I open this with the sigma, what do I get? If I equal to 1 by n plus 1. If I equal to 2 by n plus 1. If I equal to 3 by n plus 1, and so on till I equal to 5n. So 5n by n plus 1. 5n by n plus 1. Now if you observe, for these, all these series, 1 by n, 2 by n, 3 by n, 4 by n, if I take n LCM, numerator is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus and so on 5n. Numerator is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus and so on 5n. So I will take the LCM for this part, and remaining 1 is added for 5n times. 1 is added for 5n times. So what do I get finally? We'll see. What do I get finally? We'll see. So this is 0 to 5. So this is equal to, what do I get? Limit n tends to infinity as it is, 1 by n as it is. So what do I get here? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus and so on till 5n by n. If I take n, LCM n for all this. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5n by n plus, here 1 is added for 5n times. So 5n. 1 is added for 5n times. 1 is added for 3 times, you will write 3. 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3. If 1 is added for 4 times, then it is 4. Like 5n times you are going to add. So this one value will be 1 plus 1 plus 1, 5n times. So that is 1 plus this whole thing plus 5n. Now if you open the bracket and simplifying this, what do I get? Limit n tends to infinity, 1 by n into 1 by n into, coming to this part, sum of 5n natural numbers. Sum of n natural numbers, you know, n into n plus 1 by 2. Here 5n natural numbers means 5n into 5n plus 1 by 2. By n already there, it is as it is by n. Plus 5n. Next step I will open the bracket, or I will open here itself. Limit n tends to infinity, 1 by n into 5n. 1 by n into 5n. Here n gets cancelled. So there is no n in that part. There is no n in that part. So this becomes n gets cancelled, and this is limit n tends to infinity. Limit n tends to infinity. If I take n common from these two, what happens? N by n into, if I take n common from this two, what happens? Here n by n into here 5 plus 1 by n. 5 plus, here there is no n, so becomes 1 by n by 2. By 2 plus this is 5. Why I am taking n common? If you substitute n tends to infinity, 1 by n becomes 0. 1 by n becomes 0. So I need 1 by n, that's why I did. Whenever n tends to infinity, I need to get 1 by n because 1 by n is always 0. Now this becomes 5 plus 0. This is 5 into, one more 5 is there. So right, 5 outside I forgot, right? So 5 into 5 plus 1 by n by 2 plus 5. So what it becomes? So this is equal to, now if I apply the limit, what happens? 1 by n is 0. So 5 into 5 plus 0, that is 5 into 5 by 2 plus 5. Now if I take LCM, this is 25 plus 10, 35 by 2. So this final value for me is 35 by 2. Final value of this is 35 by 2. So integral of this value I got 35 by 2. By using limit as a sum, integral of 0 to 5 x plus 1 dx equal to 35 by 2. This is limit as a sum, but actually we won't do all this because he is asking do using limit as a sum, we are doing this. But we won't do all this, we will do simply how actual sum is, just apply the integration, then apply the limits, enough. So we will check that, we will come to know. You know how to find integral of x plus 1 dx. What is integral of x plus 1? X integration is x square by 2 plus 1 integration is x. Between the limits 0 to 5. 0 to 5. Now we will apply upper limit minus lower limit. Means in place of x substitute these limits. 5 square by 2 plus 5. Minus lower limit anyhow 0. 0 minus anything is 0. That thing only. So I am writing this. 5 square by 2. 25 by 2 plus 5. By taking LCM, we get 35 by 2 or not. Both are equal or not. So instead of doing that much, we will do this simple method. This we will discuss in the next class. That is actually is asking using Riemann sum or limit as a sum. We are doing that way. Otherwise, no need to that way. But in object 2, the sum will be given with limit. Then we will convert into this form. Then we will do. Those we will discuss later. So first you understood what is Riemann sum, I think. Second Roman second sum also say, using limit as a sum, find integral of 0 to 1 x minus x square dx. So this is in this form, integral of 0 to 1 fx dx equal to, according to Riemann sum formula, limit n tends to infinity, 1 by n into sigma I equal to 1 to n f of I by n. Previously it is np, now it is n, that is because it is asking 0 to 1. So we will apply that. Integral of 0 to 1 fx x minus x square dx equal to limit n tends to infinity 1 by n into sigma of I equal to 1 to n. This is f of x. F of I by n means I by n minus I by n whole square. So I by n minus I by n whole square. I by n minus I by n whole square. Now if I expand this to the sigma, so limit n tends to infinity, it becomes 1 by n into 1 by 2, 1, this is if n equal to 1, 1 by n equal to 2, 2 by n, 3 by n and so on till n by n. This is one part, and another part is minus of this square. Square is 1 square by n square. So 1 square by n square plus 2 square by n square plus 3 square by n square and so on till n square by n square. So this is the second part. So separately simplifying, then you can apply the limit. Limit n tends to infinity 1 by n into, if you take an LCM, numerator becomes 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus and so on till n. So sum of n natural numbers, n into n plus 1 by 2 by n as it is, n is LCM. This n as it is. n gets cancelled. Minus, this is sum of squares of n natural numbers. Sum of squares of n natural numbers. So becomes sum of squares of n natural numbers, n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. So n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6 is sum of squares of n natural numbers by n square as this. Now if I open the brackets, if I want, I can cancel 1n like this. Then if I open the brackets, then it becomes then it becomes 1 by n, limit n tends to infinity, 1 by n into, if I take n common from these two as usually, it becomes n into 1 plus 1 by n by 2, 1 plus 1 by n by 2 minus, coming to this, 1 by n into n, 6n square, denominator is 6n square, and here numerator also, if I take n common from here and n common from here, becomes n square into, if I take n common from here, 1 plus 1 by n into n common from these two, becomes 2 plus 1 by n, 2 plus 1 by n. So why I am taking common, as usual you know, limit n tends to infinity, 1 by n tends to 0. So limit n tends to infinity also separately if you apply by opening the brackets. So limit n tends to infinity, 1 by n is 0. So this becomes, this n gets cancelled and this is 1 plus 0. That is 1 plus 0, 2 plus 0 by 6. So the final answer will be like this. This is equal to 1 plus 0, 1 by 2 minus, this is 1 into, this is 1 plus 0 into 2 plus 0, 1 into 2, 2 by 6 or 1 by 3. So 2 by 6 or 1 by 3. So this is equal to, if I take 6 as the LCM, 6 as the LCM, 3 minus 2, 1 by 6. So the final result is 1 by 6. So calculation part you take care, usually I won't do run. So this is 1 by 6 will cross check. Given sum is integral of 0 to 1, x minus x square dx. I told you just integrate separately, then integral of x is x square by 2, x square is x cube by 3. Between limit 0 to 1 I told you. If I apply upper limit 1, 1 by 2 minus 1 by 3, so this becomes 1 by 6. 100% right what we did calculation part also. So this is how we will do definite integration. We will continue the next part from the next class.